It's really frustrating when the people we want to talk to or the people that we need to talk to about things are unavailable, whether emotionally or physically not there, and no matter what the circumstance might be, especially when we are teenagers, when we are young adults, and we say, I need to talk to my parents, or someone else says, you need to talk to your parents, and they are simply not able to have that conversation. This message is from 15. We're not going to share her name, but she's 15. And she says, I can't talk to my parents about my mental health. My mom kind of understands, but my dad just scares me. My anxiety has gotten so bad since COVID, and lately it's getting even worse, and I can't survive the week without something like youth group, but it's terrifying to even try to go. What can I do? I know you're going to say, talk to my parents. Everyone does, but I literally can't. Is there anything else? I feel like I'm in a unique situation to be able to answer this question. And first, I just want to say to 15, thank you so much for trusting me with your story. I'm in a unique situation because I really do appreciate my parents, and I'm also a parent. And so of course, like she said, a lot of times the natural instinct is to say, especially to teenagers, we're like, we'll talk to your parents about it. But there are so many different variables to why so many teenagers might not be able to go to their parents. And unfortunately, I do get messages like this a lot from teenagers and young adults in faith communities who are Christians, whose parents are Christians, and they're not able to talk to their parents about things like health, mental health, because that is such an odd conversation in faith-based communities. And so I just want to say to 15, I'm so sorry that you're not able to go to your parents about this right now. And I want you to know that you're not alone, and that I'm hoping that I can give you some practical tips as to how to move forward and really get the help that you need. One thing that I absolutely love to do is to read. I really do. And I think that could be a really good step for you. Reading some material, reading some content that better helps you understand the anxiety that you're going through so that you can better explain it. I don't think that this is a situation where it's you either talk to your parents or you don't talk to your parents. I think that those extremes can be kind of like, okay, well, what if both of those feel awkward and stressful? What am I supposed to do? So I think we need to graduate into that, right? We'll just use some high school scenarios. You're 15. It's very likely that you are not trying to go to college tomorrow, but you're possibly not trying to not go to college ever. So how can we build into that? So I think that a really good choice would be to read some books, to read some material that can help you better understand what anxiety is from the perspective of daily stress and worry, and also when we are specifically talking about things like mental health. So I will be sure to leave some resources in the description and the show notes where you can go and check out some books that I think would be suited for you, especially as a high schooler, so that you can fully understand and figure out how to share with your parents. So I was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome when I was 11 years old, and that's not really a phrase that a lot of 11-year-olds just understand right off the top of, their head. And then also growing up, when I was 19, 20, 21, I was serving in my church's ministry with kids, and they needed to know that something was going on because I was making sounds and doing movements I couldn't control, but I couldn't explain my Tourette syndrome to them the same way that I would explain it to someone else. So sometimes we have to really get ready to do a lot of work. We have to get ready to do a lot of advocacy work so that we can fully understand what we want to explain, so that later on you can explain to your parents like, hey, I wrote up these couple of paragraphs and it kind of helps explain what I've been going through. And when you're ready to talk about it, I'm here, but I just wanted you to know. So that's one of the first things. Read for yourself so that you can learn and understand and grow, and then also hopefully develop some language that could be helpful to explain to your parents later on down the line. The second thing that I'm going to suggest is that you pursue a conversation with your doctor. I know that that is like, what? Like who in the world finds peace and rest while talking to a doctor? No offense to the doctors out there. Doctors are amazing, but it can oftentimes be a bit stressful to have that conversation with a doctor. But I don't want you to not get the help that you need. And even if it's a conversation about vitamins or, maybe even like an exercise plan, because sometimes, exercise or sports or physical fitness can really help with mental health. Maybe a conversation like that with your doctor could be really helpful to help jumpstart the conversation with your parents. So, as opposed to saying, hey, dad, you need to know about some stress that I've been having in life, then the conversation is, hey, dad, my doctor recommended that I pursue a sport. My doctor recommended that I do these things because they could be helpful for me just because of some of the stress that I've been dealing with. So, I wanted to throw this idea out there to you. I know this might kind of feel like, well, hold on now. Like, I need to tell him he needs to understand everything about mental health, or, mom needs to know every aspect of anxiety. I fully support parents having this full understanding, but I also want to make sure that you're getting the care that you need. And so I just, again, want to reiterate getting some reading and some journaling down to fully understand, and then also pursuing a conversation with a healthcare provider, because that can help you come up with an action plan. And then by taking those action steps, that action plan to your parents, it can help them see like, oh, we've got some steps to take to really pursue the next step in this journey. And the last thing that I want to bring attention to is you mentioned really wanting to go to youth group, but being unable to go. And a lot of times, the things that we have once wanted to do, if we're feeling like we don't want to do them anymore, those could be really serious signs of stress, or even greater things. And I want to make sure that you are supported and that you have the care that you need to be able to get back into the things that you love, but also understand why at times you don't want to do the things that you love. So, what I'm going to recommend is that you try to type up a 2 or 3 sentence kind of accountability call to action that you share with someone from youth group that is your age, and that you also share with someone that is a part of the ministry team or leadership team at your youth group. And what that could sound like, and you can literally write this down if you would like to and use this exact phrase, but you could say, hey, I've been dealing with a lot of stress, and it's been really challenging for me to do things that I used to enjoy, like youth group. I would really benefit from someone checking in on me and helping me make sure that I can get to the things that are very supportive and helpful for me, like youth group. Do you think that you could help me out with that? That is something very similar that I have shared with a small group of friends over the last couple of years. If you've been subscribed for a while, then you know about my friend Lydia. She is a friend of mine like that, where she is kind of allowed to push a little bit more. We lived very close to each other before COVID, and there were times where I would say, I don't think I can hang out today. I just don't feel like seeing anybody, et cetera, et cetera. And she would she's that friend that is allowed to push a little bit more and essentially come over and be like, okay, well, if you're not ready to leave the house, then I'm going to come and sit in the house with you. And I'm grateful for that friend, because yes, we need to be able to set boundaries in life, and we need to be able to know what is good for us. But we also have to be able to acknowledge when we are unfortunately making choices that maybe aren't the best for us. And 15, I didn't even say this to you at the beginning, but I'm so proud of you for even being able to acknowledge that you do need help, and that you do need resources, and that you do need some action steps to being able to get back into the things that you love. This is not the end, 15, and you are going to recover, and you're going to learn, and you're going to grow from this. And I believe that by reaching out to some people back at youth group, I believe that you will be able to build that kind of connection with someone around your age and one of the leaders that can check in with you and make sure that you are enjoying the things in life that God has so graciously allowed you to be able to enjoy. And I believe that you'll be able to have a great conversation with your primary care doctor, or a local therapist that will be able to help you come up with an action plan for some physical activity or some local community sports, something like that, so that you can have some fun and get the, the blood rushing and, just really be able to feel that physical rush and that physical connection that will hopefully be a great support for you long term when it comes to your mental health. And I truly do believe that by checking out one of the books that I'm going to share with you, maybe even reading it with a friend, I believe that it'll help you really grow in your understanding about what anxiety is and what those feelings are that you're having, and maybe even help you like go over to canva.com and make a fun, colorful presentation and be like, yo, mom and dad, I want to share something with you guys. Let me know if you'd like to talk about it more. I really do believe that you are on the journey to really learning more about yourself and creating some actionable steps to truly feeling a lot better and a lot more confident and a lot more at peace and a lot more at rest. And I'm so proud of you for reaching out, 15.